Hi, I'm Annabella and I am the creator director and co-founder of Contradictions in Ilk. I want to take some time to introduce you to our collection of 8 layerable contradictory scents inspired by human nature. The idea behind these scents is that it's the contradictions in our character who truly make us who we are and should be available in perfume for the ultimate in self-expression. We want you to be the artist of your own scent story, to use perfume like a scent tattoo on the canvas of your skin. For layering, the opposite scents have been specifically crafted so that they enhance and subdue different facets of the other for a unique and complexly rich experience, but you can absolutely still wear them on their own. In fact, it's encouraged. So, without any further ado, I am going to explore our 8 scents with you. If you already have your discovery set, thank you. Please sniff along with us, and I will be going from right, left, but right, all the way through. So, without further ado, we will start. So, just say the 8 scents that we're going to be going through are libertine and virtuous, devious and sincere, fantasist and realist, and infatuated and nonchalant. Sorry, my dog is here and she's just adorable. Distractingly adorable, but I will focus. So, let's start with libertine, one of my favourites. It's like choosing children, they're all my favourites, don't get me wrong. So this one is inspired by an encounter with the liberally, sexually, politically loose Casanova. So there is actually a little secret to this one, which is that Casanova used to think a big part of his lure was wearing leather pants soaked in civet and rose water, which he would wear for many weeks at a time. Don't get me wrong, this isn't going to make you smell like a crotch, but it does have some of the notes taken from inspiration from that. So leather, a lovely sort of soft worn leather, and rose, deep dark rose, and they're all, and a little bit of cumin. It's not cumin in the sense that you might have smelt in other perfumes where it sort of grabs you by the balls, let's say. It's subtle and it's sort of a clean cumin, if there could be such a thing. And then also his favourite drink was cordial orangeat. So that is why we have notes of orange and brandy, and also beeswax from the numerous candles that would have lit the room. So these were handmade, so sometimes So that is leather, orange, rose, beeswax and cumin are the main notes in that one. Now this is paired with virtuous, and virtuous we go from 18th century Venice and take a journey in our minds to 18th century Tuscany. So this, as the name suggests, takes a different route, and this is inspired by a walk in a monk's herb garden. So it's very aromatic and it has a kind of sparkling, almost aqueous finish to it. It has basil, sage, violet, and then you walk through the garden seeking shade from the bright sun, and you go into the church, and you get that smell of incense lingering from morning mass, that beautiful cold stone from the walls, and also that sort of leather from old touched books, basically. But this one works really, really well with libertine. It's almost, I mean, I didn't call it that, but it's almost your classic night and day. You've got the fresh, aromatic, but still with a little bit of body from the incense from Virtuous, and then Libertine, you have its sort of sexy, racier partner. But there is something about the sensuality of this perfume that it's not necessarily, you're not wearing it for someone else, you're wearing it for you. And that's so the next one we're going to do is Devious. So this one is a trek into the sour edge of your mind, to the whirring dark thoughts that should probably stay in there. So the idea behind this pair, just top line between Devious and Sincere, is I wanted it to almost smell like an amaretto sour. So the Devious captures the sort of sour facet, but not sour as, you know, directly sour. Sour in a slightly balsamic way. So there's sort of drunken cherries. I've put cyanide, which is bitter almonds, chambard, brandy, tonka bean, vanilla, cardamom, nutmeg. It's sort of like a very lulling, warm, spicy cherry. And then the other that goes with that is Sincere, which is inspired by a profound love, that of a mother. So this one brings a sort of the amaretto bit to the amaretto sour. It is all of the sort of sense that you would think of comforting nuzzling, of a pure love. So it's got white flowers, it has almond, it has peach fuzz and peach flesh, it has saffron, and my favourite note in there, which is condensed milk, which sort of has that kind of sweet breast milk quality to it, which sounds a bit extreme, but actually when you pair it all together it is really, really calming. Almost, quite a lot of people have said that it reminds them of sort of the chai tea of their childhood. It's really soothing. I hope you like it. So when they're together, as I say, that kind of amaretto sour, if you want it to be a bit fruitier and almondy, wear the Sincere on top, and if you want it to be a little more sort of autumnal or evening, a bit spicier, wear Devious on top instead. So our next pair is Fantasist and Realist. So Fantasist, I think we all have a little bit of Fantasist and Realist in us, do we not? Fantasist, the story is sort of an enchanted trip to the circus. We have in this the smell of soft hay from the animal pens, coffee bubbling on the fire, the sort of getting a sense of the convivial chat, everyone sitting around smoking cannabis, we've got a little bit of that as well, and toffee apples. And then there's also a lovely sort of bouquet of rose, which is from the endless bouquets given to Teddy Clausen, the infamous unicorn tamer. So this one is of the sweeter end of the scale, but there's something about it, I think it's that tart, juicy appleness that keeps it from being too saccharine, and instead, and there is an elegance from the tonka bean and from the coffee, which gives it a smooth edge to its sweetness. So the next one, which is the partner to Fantasist, is Realist, which in this sense story we are set in the foothills in Japan, where we are following a Buddhist monk on his quest to achieve enlightenment through the incense ceremony, the ancient Japanese incense ceremony called Kodo, where you train yourself to listen to smell. And in this scent we try to capture the way that smells in the air shift from cold, dark night into the warming daybreak. So here we feature some of the things that obviously give the sense of place. So we have ozonic notes, We have a very fresh sort of hinoki wood from the forests, and the rest is it's a very citrus, dry green scent. We have sort of black tea, bergamot, lemon, yuzu, everlasting flower, and gosh, this is something that's worth bearing in mind, that these scents are all extrait de parfum. So because of the high oil content, when you first put them on the skin, it's a bit of like a sucker punch to the face. But just let your body warm the scents, and they sort of find their own life on your skin, more so than others because of the high oil. So yes, so this, as I said, black tea, ozonic notes, yuzu, and fresh sparkling hinoki. So when layering Fantasist and Realist, I would recommend putting Realist on top for a greener, fresher scent, or if you like things a bit fruity, Fantasist on top instead. Our very final pair in the set is, that sounds weird, pair in the set, Infatuated and Nonchalant. So let's start with Infatuated. So this is an ode to the all-consuming experience of love, and nothing captures that quite like the obsession that we all went through as teenagers, or still going through, I won't assume. And in this specific scent story, we find a lovelorn teenager sitting in the school playing fields, trying to do their homework, obsessing, fantasizing about their teacher with whom they're obsessed, and nothing can penetrate their daydreams other than the scent of pear and ginger crumble wafting in from the school kitchens. So this is very faithfully combines quite a lot of the scents that, as they all do, to be honest, in the story. So you have wet grass from the playing fields, lavender from the bushes, pear, ginger and custard. We also have sort of a very dark oud wood in here, sort of reminiscent of school libraries, pepper, and also my favourite note, which is rubber, because this teenager is doing what I got told off all the time for, which is chewing on the end of their pencil. So this is, I really love this one. This is very peppery and dark woods, but there's something about the rubber that's almost like tongue curling, but in a lovely way. Really deep scent, and that sort of grass and lavender keeps it from being too cloying. So the one that goes with that is Nonchalant, and this one seeks to capture the effortless cool of, French women. French women are just the coolest cats out there. I know that's a really lame phrase to use, coolest cats. No one has used that for about a century. But in fact, we're rewinding to a century ago to Josephine Baker and taking an imaginary moment in her dressing room. So quickly, why Josephine Baker? Nonchalant. She managed to counter her many different facets with the cool ease of a nonchalant French lady. She was the first black film star, open bisexual. She was a wartime spy and infamous dancer. She was everything. And in this scent story, we catch her in her dressing room indulging in a moment of dramatic flair just for her own pleasure, so not being nonchalant at all. And we get champagne, red berries, we have geranium, cinnamon, patchouli, raspberry, and they all come together to make this beautiful sort of almost classical French chypre, but with a sort of a spicy, bolshy edge. It's quite special. And when they're together, they do, these are one of the sort of the heavier pairings, Infatuated and Nonchalant, and they complement each other really, really well. what? These two, if when you're layering, I would put nonchalant on top of infatuated to let those sort of lovely sort of spicy berries sing. Or I do it the other way around if you want sort of a darker, more ambery finish. So that is sort of a little heads up on the whole set, but if I was to say how I would wear them, which I can, so I will, I'd say libertine and virtuous, lovely aromatic, which is beautiful for day but has enough sort of body to it from the incense and the leather for night. But with libertine, it is the perfect day and night sort of combo. Good if you want something a little bit heavier and juicier, but also something fresh and aromatic. Devious and sincere, both of these are supposed to make you feel lulled. Devious or nuzzle. With sincere, they're cosy, but in different ways. Devious is full of cherries and spices, and sincere has sort of milk notes, peach, but not in a sweet peach way, and almonds and saffron that is very soft. And then I'd say fantasist and realist, those are sort of zingy and super green in their own ways. You know, realist is very sort of fresh and dry and green, and then fantasist still has those qualities, but it has a sweeter edge with that yummy crisp green apple and the notes of cannabis and jasmine and rose. So yeah, they're a lovely pair, but they both have that kind of like zingy freshness. And then lastly, infatuated and nonchalant, these are the kind of deeper pair with your sort of classic French twist, chypre and nonchalant, and a sort of spicy, peppery, oud rubbery lavender infatuated. So I hope that has been helpful. 8 cents, quite a large collection because we are all quite complex individuals. Thank you for joining me, and please let us know if you have any questions and how you feel these best capture your scent story.